Hi everyone, I'm Paul.
And I'm Rick.
And this is Nerdslant Rebel Underground. So this week on Rebel Underground, we're talking about the newest episode of Star Wars Rebels, The Secret Cargo. Pretty fun episode, actually.
It was a really fun episode. A lot more action-y than the previous ones.
It was definitely a change of pace from Through Imperial Eyes, which was a lot more about subterfuge and mind games, and more just about pure, raw power. And speaking of raw power, everyone's favorite droid, or at least my favorite droid, because some people over here prefer R2-D2.
Is this even, like, a thing?
Yeah, I don't even know what you said. There's no inflection.
I'm sorry that my droid doesn't talk like the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Ezra, get in the nose gun.
I love the moment when the Imperial probe was zeroing in on the Ghost, and Hera decided to power down all the systems and said, "You too, Chopper," and he wasn't having any of that.
No, he got, like, kung fu fighting on Zeb.
It was very much a Firefly Serenity, Eitakua Nasmien moment where Simon is like, "Oh, by the way, River, I need to put you to sleep," and it's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Throat chop.
Yeah.
It's too bad the Chopper's arms are really, really small.
Yeah.
And they come out of his face.
It's too bad he's not as badass
It's like
as
this.
R2-D2.
It's kind of like this. A little bit like this kind of thing over here.
And he's trusting us to get them fuel.
If he trusts us, why is he...
Another really cool thing that we saw this episode, and it's probably going to be a continuing theme moving forward, is we're starting to see the rebellion take more of a civilized, structured tone.
Less kind of individual cells just doing their own thing.
Exactly. We saw Mon Mothma call out Emperor Palpatine in a Senate meeting and call to action other leaders of other planets.
You need some salve for that burn, Palpy?
Paging Dr. Mon Mothma to the burn ward. You got a patient waiting for you.
I definitely enjoy the fact that we are now starting to see more characters from the original trilogy emerging into the show, because it harkens back to the things that we know, things that are familiar, and not in that kind of Force Awakens way where it was very super, you remember?
Remember Chewbacca again? Oh, I love to remember Chewbacca.
Pepperidge Farm members, too.
Pepperidge Farm always members.
We have Gold Squad, who's like, this is a rebellion, not a rebellion.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy that attitude of, you guys are making things really difficult for us because you blew up a Star Destroyer. Like, why would you do that? I mean, we're just talking about fighting a rebellion, not actually fighting a rebellion.
I think I kind of see the merit to both points there. I understand what the girl from Gold Squadron was saying. Actions have consequences. Progress for the sake of progress isn't necessarily progress. You blew up a Star Destroyer. That sounds really good on paper. But did you guys not think of how they would probably tighten security after that and how much more difficult that's going to make future operations?
See, I'm following you on that, but it feels a little bit like what Phoenix Squadron had to explain to Iron Squadron when we first met them. But this instead is Gold Squad basically ragging on Phoenix Squadron and treating them like children in the same way that Phoenix Squad did Iron Squadron, who were actually children.
So I could understand why Gold Squadron has a problem with Phoenix Squadron not thinking through their actions, but at the same time, I could understand how Phoenix Squadron's like, hey, we were there, okay?
You weren't there, man.
Exactly.
All right, you weren't there. You didn't know.
We were there, and you weren't, so we saw that something had to get done, and we make zero apologies for doing what we thought had to be done.
We don't mind doing things the hard way.
Plus, all right, no, that's true. And I will acknowledge that everything Phoenix Squadron's been doing is what brought Admiral Thrawn down on this sector of the galaxy. So, no, yeah, that has points. You get points.
What about our ship? We need all the firepower we can get.
You got anyone who can fly it?
Alright, so one of my favorite points of this episode, since if you've seen any of our previous episodes, you know I am a huge Ezra Bridger fanboy, is we got to see my boy jump in the pilot seat of his very own Y-Wing and take some names.
Take your shot, kid.
Bubblegum, all out of that.
Damn, I'm looking good.
Plus, he got his really nice
is
helmet.
that?
He did get his really
He
nice
got his
helmet.
Y-wing
And
pilot helmet.
I really hope he got to keep that afterwards.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice if we got to keep it? I was frankly really impressed by Ezra's piloting skills. We got to note that Hera was giving him training in how to do piloting, and Hera, of course, is one of the best pilots that we know of in the
She really
galaxy.
is.
Honestly, she could give Han a run for his money. Not hating, just saying. Not hating, just saying. The absolute highlight, though, of the dogfight came at the very end when Ezra and Vander came out of the nebula and were about to fire their ion cannons at the two Star Destroyers descending on the Ghost, and then Hera had that idea,
Negative. Do not attack the Star Destroyers. Fire at the nebula.
because that's the way that you take down a Star Destroyer. And by the way, Gold Squad was ragging on them for destroying one Star Destroyer, and Ezra was like, nah. I'ma double it this time.
2-for-1 special, boy.
2-for-1 special. Of course, for as much fanboying as we can do about space dogfights, lighting nebula farts on fire, and mustaches, this episode honestly centered on the emergence of Mon Mothma into Star Wars Rebels and her giant call to arms above Dantooine, by the way. I love that A New Hope shout out above Dantooine. And like you were saying before in the beginning, pulling all the rebel cells together into a cohesive unit, not just guerrilla troops fighting in various parts of the galaxy, but a rebellion with one single goal, as she said, the restoration of our republic.
That was probably like that was like slow clap at the end of Rudy for me right there.
I actually, when I was watching it, I teared up a little bit.
I got a little choked up too. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
It was that shot of the just expanse of blackness in space. Is anyone going to show up? There's one ship,
Yeah.
another.
And then the trickle became a downpour. We are now starting to see the rebellion become more evolved and way more of a threat to the Empire.
Hopefully, moving forward, since there's only a few episodes left in this season, we're going to see more characters from the original trilogy emerging. Because I love how Disney is tying all of these different things together, both the original trilogy, the new movies, the cartoon series, kind of like what they're doing with Marvel in the Marvel Comics universe. They're building this giant playground for fans to romp around in, and I absolutely love that.
Me too. Keep doing what you're doing, Disney.
Keep being you. Shut up and take our money.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this episode. Stay tuned next week where we're going to be reviewing the newest episode, Double Agent Droids. Signing off, this is Rick.
I'm Paul.
And if you're watching this, you are the rebellion.